All right, welcome to another deep dive. You ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Awesome. So today, we're all about computational problem solving, especially for all you budding engineers out there.
Yeah, we've got some really cool stuff to explore today.
Definitely. We've got Professor Barba's class notes on NumPy arrays and this awesome resource called Play with NumPy Arrays.
Really good stuff.
Well, we want to get you pumped about using Python, Jupyter, especially for engineering projects, and of course, the power of NumPy and Matplotlib.
Those are essential tools for sure.
Totally. We'll be your guides, pointing out those aha moments along the way.
Exactly. We're going to break down why these tools are so important for future engineers like you.
So right off the bat, Professor Barba jumps into n-dimensional arrays, or end arrays for short.
Right.
They sound kind of complex, you know. What makes them so special, especially in the world of science and engineering?
Well, think of them like superpowered lists. Professor Barba really hits on their efficiency, especially when you're dealing with tons of data, like massive data sets or, those complex calculations. Imagine designing a bridge or simulating an entire city's traffic flow.
Wow.
You're going to need a way to manage mountains of data. Arrays are built for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Professor Barba also mentions that arrays only contain elements of the same type. How does that make them more efficient?
It all comes down to how computers process information. When the data is all formatted the same way, the computer can access it and manipulate it so much faster. Yeah, it's like having a dedicated highway for data compared to navigating a bunch of winding back roads.
Okay, so it's streamlined.
Exactly. And this is super important when you're running simulations or crunching large data sets, for engineering projects.
So sticking with that transportation analogy, is it like having all your supplies packed neatly in identical containers, ready to be shipped out efficiently, no more rummaging through a jumbled mess?
Yes, exactly. You got it. And NumPy, that's like the massive cargo ship that carries all those containers, along with all the tools you need to process them. It provides a ton of functions specifically designed for working with arrays.
That's a really great analogy.
Yeah.
So let's jump into that Play with NumPy Arrays guide.
Yeah, let's do it.
It starts with importing the NumPy library. Seems simple enough. But then it uses that import NumPy as NP shortcut.
Right.
Is it really necessary to shorten NumPy to NP? It's not that long of a word.
I get it. Why shorten it? But trust me, once you start writing more and more code, you'll really appreciate the convenience.
Okay.
Plus, it's just, you see it everywhere in Python code. It's good to get familiar with it now.
Right, it's a convention. Okay, good point. Now, the guide shows us a bunch of different ways to create arrays using functions like numpy.array, numpy.ones, numpy.zeros, numpy.arrange, and numpy.linspace. Each one seems to have its own specific purpose, right?
Absolutely. So imagine you're setting up a simulation for a new aircraft design. You might use numpy.zeros to create an array that represents the initial air pressure around the wing, all starting at 0. Or you could use numpy.linspace to define specific points along the wingspan where you're going to be measuring airflow. Each function gives you a specific way to structure your data.
That makes sense. So Professor Barba also talks about creating arrays with evenly spaced values using both numpy.arrange and numpy.linspace.
Right.
She points out that numpy.arrange really focuses on step sizes, while numpy.linspace cares about the number of samples. I'm trying to figure out when you would choose one over the other.
Yeah. That's a great question. And it really gets to the heart of why understanding these subtle differences is so important in engineering. Let's say you're modeling the temperature distribution in a metal beam under stress.
Okay.
Using numpy.arrange, it could actually lead to inaccuracies if your step size isn't fine enough to capture those subtle temperature variations.
Oh, okay.
So in that case, numpy.linspace might be a better choice to make sure you have enough data points for an accurate analysis.
So it's not just about creating arrays, it's about creating the right array for the problem you're trying to solve.
Exactly. And that's where playing around in Jupyter can be really helpful, Experiment with both functions, visualize the arrays they create, and you'll start to see firsthand how those choices affect your analysis.
All about building intuition.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now let's move on to actually using these arrays,
Yeah.
doing things with them.
Let's do it.
The Play with NumPy Arrays guide shows how you can perform operations on entire arrays, adding, subtracting, multiplying, just like you would with regular numbers.
Right.
It even warns about dividing by 0 and getting that dreaded nan, or not a number.
Oh, yeah.
We've all seen that. So NumPy takes those basic mathematical operations and kind of supercharges them for arrays.
It does, yeah. NumPy functions like numpy.add, numpy.subtract, numpy.mean, and numpy.std can be used to perform these calculations, really effortlessly, even on massive data sets.
Wow.
This is where you really start to see the power and efficiency of NumPy.
And the section on multidimensional arrays just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Professor Barba showed how you can represent matrices with 2D arrays and even create 3D arrays. It's like stepping into a whole new dimension of data.
Yeah, multidimensional arrays are like the scaffolding for these really complex engineering problems. Think about analyzing the stress distribution in a bridge. You're dealing with forces acting in 3 dimensions. Or imagine processing images from a self-driving car.
Oh, wow.
That's a 3D array of pixel data. Arrays give you this really structured way to represent and manipulate that complexity.
It's amazing how NumPy can handle all those matrix operations. Professor Barba talked about using the asterisk and the @ symbol for different types of multiplication, and the guide explains their NumPy equivalents, numpy.multiply for element-wise operations, and numpy ... or the @ symbol for matrix multiplication. Is it really that crucial to know the difference between these types of multiplication?
It's absolutely essential. Mixing them up can lead to completely wrong results, especially in engineering calculations where precision is so important. Imagine you're calculating the forces acting on a beam in a structure, right? Using the wrong type of multiplication could lead to a significant error in your analysis, and that could compromise the safety of the entire design.
Yeah, so it's not just about knowing the functions, it's about understanding what's going on underneath.
Exactly. Choosing the right tool for the job.
Wow, that really highlights why it's so important to understand these concepts. So the Play with NumPy Arrays guide, it does a great job of visually representing these concepts, right?
Yeah, it does.
Remember that diagram showing the structure of a 3D array?
Oh, yeah.
It's like looking inside a data cube. Each slice represents a 2D matrix.
It's a great way to visualize it. And slicing a 3D array, that's like extracting specific data points from that cube, almost like taking a virtual core sample from a 3D model of like a geological formation or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can use slicing to pinpoint the exact data you need for your analysis.
Nice.
As you get more comfortable with these array manipulations, you'll find yourself effortlessly extracting meaningful insights from even the most complex data sets.
Speaking of efficiency, the guide has this section called NumPy Fast and Clean that really emphasizes the performance advantages of arrays over lists.
It does, yeah.
It shows how adding 2 lists using regular Python takes way longer than adding 2 NumPy arrays. It even challenges us to try it out with larger arrays and more complex operations. I'm curious, how much faster are we talking here? Is it a noticeable difference or just, milliseconds?
Oh, the speed difference can be huge, especially as your data sets grow larger. In real-world engineering projects, you're often dealing with millions, even billions of data points. Using NumPy can literally shave off hours, even days of processing time. Imagine you're running a simulation to optimize the design of a wind turbine. That kind of speed up can make a massive difference in your workflow.
Wow. That's incredible. And on top of being faster, the NumPy code is just so much cleaner and easier to read.
Absolutely. Python syntax is already pretty elegant, and NumPy takes advantage of that to make these complex operations look almost, beautiful. It's like writing a mathematical equation in its purest form.
Okay, speaking of elegant, let's shift gears to visualization. The Play with NumPy Arrays guide gives us a taste of Matplotlib, starting with a section called Time to Plot. It shows us how to create a basic line plot with different colors and styles, all using NumPy arrays for the data. It seems like a simple way to bring our data to life.
Visualization is super crucial in engineering. It's not just about making pretty pictures. It's about gaining insights from your data, identifying patterns, and communicating your findings effectively. Think about presenting your research to colleagues or clients. A clear and compelling visualization can really make all the difference in getting your message across.
I love how Matplotlib even uses LaTeX syntax to create professional-looking labels on the plot. It adds a touch of sophistication.
It does, and that's really just scratching the surface of what Matplotlib can do.
Right.
Don't forget to check out the Matplotlib gallery online.
Oh, right.
It's full of examples of stunning visualizations that can inspire you to present your data in really creative and insightful ways. You'll find everything from 3D plots to heat maps to interactive visualizations. There's something for every engineering problem you can imagine.
Wow, so it seems like we've covered a lot of ground today. From the fundamentals of arrays to the power of NumPy and the beauty of Matplotlib, we've got a solid foundation for using Python in engineering.
Definitely. And the key takeaway here is that these tools are more than just lines of code. They're gateways to solving real-world engineering challenges.
That's awesome.
Oh.
So now for the big question, what engineering problem are you most excited to tackle using these tools?
Oh, wow. Um, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
I bet.
Whether it's designing a more efficient solar panel, or analyzing the structural integrity of a skyscraper, or even optimizing the control systems for a self-driving car, Python, NumPy, and Matplotlib can be your allies in tackling all those challenges.
That's really inspiring. It feels like we've gone from staring at a blank Jupyter notebook to having this whole toolkit for turning data into solutions.
Exactly. And remember, Professor Barba, she emphasized the importance of practice. The more you experiment, the more comfortable you'll become with these tools.
So it's not just about understanding the theory. It's about actually writing code, running simulations, and seeing those results.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to break things. Try different approaches, you
Yeah.
know? And learn from your mistakes. That's how you build real mastery. Think of it like learning a musical instrument. The more you play, the better you become.
That's a great analogy. So we've got the tools, we have the motivation, and now it's all about practice. Any tips for making the most of our learning journey?
One thing I'd recommend is starting with small, manageable projects. Don't try to build a complex simulation right away. Pick a simple problem that interests you and break it down into smaller steps.
So instead of simulating an entire bridge, maybe start with analyzing the stress distribution on a single beam.
Exactly. That way you can focus on learning the fundamentals of NumPy and Matplotlib without getting overwhelmed by the complexity of the problem. And as you gain confidence, you can gradually increase the complexity of your projects.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
What about resources for getting help when we inevitably get stuck? I know there are tons of online tutorials and forums, but it can be hard to know where to start.
That's true. You're right. There's a lot of information out there, but not all of it's, created equal. One resource I highly recommend is the official NumPy documentation.
Okay.
It's really comprehensive, well-written, and full of examples.
And I've heard that Stack Overflow is a lifesaver for programmers.
Oh, it definitely is. If you encounter a specific error or have a question about a particular function, chances are someone else has already faced the same challenge and posted a solution on Stack Overflow. Don't hesitate to search for answers there. It's a goldmine of collective wisdom.
So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. Programming is a very collaborative field, and there's a vibrant community of people willing to help each other out. Embrace that community, and don't let the fear of asking, dumb questions hold you back.
That's great advice. It feels like we're not just learning technical skills here, but also developing a mindset for problem solving and collaboration.
Absolutely, and that mindset is just as important as the technical skills themselves. It's about being curious, persistent, and resourceful, qualities that will serve you well throughout your engineering career.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've explored the power of arrays, the efficiency of NumPy, the beauty of Matplotlib, and even touched on the importance of a collaborative learning mindset. It feels like we've equipped ourselves with a really solid foundation for tackling those real-world engineering challenges that you mentioned earlier.
It's just the beginning of an exciting journey. As you continue to explore these tools, you'll discover even more amazing possibilities. Every line of code you write, every simulation you run, every visualization you create, it's a step closer to becoming a skilled and impactful engineer.
And what a rewarding journey it promises to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does feel like we've only just, scratched the surface, but I'm already starting to see how these tools can open up so many doors in engineering.
That's the beauty of it, The more you learn, the more you realize there is to discover.
And that's pretty exciting. So to wrap things up, any final words of wisdom for our aspiring engineers out there?
I would say embrace the learning process. Don't be afraid to experiment, ask questions, and most importantly, have fun along the way.
I love that, because at the end of the day, engineering is all about using creativity and problem-solving skills to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. And with tools like Python, NumPy, and Matplotlib at your fingertips, you've the power to, turn your ideas into reality.
This has been an awesome deep dive. I feel energized and ready to start coding.
Awesome. We're here to cheer you on every step of the way.
To all our listeners out there, happy coding, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.